The show that believes that the only place where masked men belong is in a wrestling ring.
That's right.
And even then, sometimes not always, dude.
Not always.
Except for our guy AJ Styles, who tore the house down yesterday against Shinsuke Nakamura in an early show of the year and perhaps match of the year candidate.
I actually decided to make a list of my favorite matches instead of retroactively going back into the year and trying to figure it out. I'm starting the list from that match and Saturday night's main event because I thought it was an uncharacteristically good show for WWE, especially for Saturday night's main event.
One of their best.
Yeah, I would say every single match except for the last one. And I shouldn't even say the last one was bad because it wasn't, because Sami Zayn won and that was great. But I thought that overall the event was really, really good. And especially, I gotta give props to Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu, because normally Cody Rhodes makes me very sleepy. And this did not. This had the opposite effect.
Well, they knew that, so they put him on first. They were like, there's no way she'll fall asleep if we put him on at 7 o'clock on the dot.
No, and if we have him spitting beer and throwing concessions, then it's definitely going to go over. I feel like I had underestimated him. Well, maybe it's just because I've seen kind of the same thing from him for a little while now, and it was nice to get something different.
Cody likes a little indie carnage from time to time.
Yeah, and the promo was good, but that was from SmackDown. SmackDown promo between him and Jacob Fatu was really good, and yeah, I wasn't expecting it, and loved it. Thought it was great. Thought the whole event was great.
We've had a few positive developments. I think we're bearing the lead here. I think we should start by saying, hello, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Welcome back. It's been a little bit. We decided to take a little prolonged time off after ruminating on our Shootnamis and, really diving into the best of the best in 2025. And so in the interim, we've had some pretty great things in 2026 that have come across the board, including last night's Saturday night's main event. We have 2 new major champions across both of the brands.
Yep.
We have Drew McIntyre finally winning and retaining and holding on to his championship for longer than several minutes. The shenanigans finally break his way, with Fatu interfering with the 3 stages of Hell match. So we have a no bullshit Drew McIntyre title run right now, which may or may not end next weekend in Saudi Arabia. It remains to be seen. And we also have the return of our boy, MJF, the rightful king.
I'm so happy for him.
Finally taking back his Triple B. We couldn't be more elated because we've said for weeks and months that these 2 are the ones that need to be holding the belt and the ones that have the ability to make those titles the most compelling.
Totally. Well, heels are always the best with belts, and like MJF is the best heel out there, and Drew McIntyre is WWE's best heel. And I think genuinely people are happy for Drew McIntyre. Like,
so happy.
Yeah. If not, I bet you, I think I even read that Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre pitched the change together because I think it's just time. It's time.
It's a fitting time because we are on the precipice of the official road to WrestleMania. We have the Royal Rumble next Saturday afternoon. It's a time of optimism if you're a fan of a wrestler that doesn't normally get pushed, and it's a time of change. I started thinking about the Royal Rumble and last year's, which I thought that despite the results of the 2 matches not bearing out the way that WWE would hope for, we're excited by the big swings that the creative takes at this time of year, but also at the same time when they don't work out, we're very critical of them in
Yeah.
hindsight. And that's really kind of the angle of this episode, is that the Royal Rumble is the time of year where you really start to light those trial balloons of who is actually up next.
Yeah.
And you give them that really first big push on the WrestleMania stage. It's a time for WWE Creative to stress test who's actually over. And so I figured that we would do the same. So we are going to be playing a game that I came up with called Moreover. It's kind of a thought experiment. It's a little discussion between me and you where we will actually try to scientifically place the amount of over certain superstars are, specifically those that we could either see getting a push very soon or ones with momentum in their ascendance. So that's what we're going to be doing in a little bit. I don't want to. We have been gone for a few weeks, so I don't want to kind of skirt over anything. We have new women's tag team champions, Rio. That's very exciting. I thought that they had a really great match last night with Liv and Roxanne Perez. We also have the debut of season 2 of Unreal, and we have not finished it. We're about 2 episodes and 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
I would probably put Unreal like in the negative column for developments in 2026.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you?
It's so much worse than I thought. So much worse than I thought.
What do you think, in your mind, is the objective that WWE hopes to achieve with a show like this?
You know how when people don't get it, they would say like, well, it's fake, right? Like it's fake. So like, how do you get behind that? Because they can't like put it together in their minds like how many layers the onion has yet. So like they just see it as like, well, they're not really fighting, right? Like how like it's pre-planned. Like it's just
Right.
to people who don't watch it and who aren't into it and don't look at it with all the layers and perspectives, like it's that simple because they haven't seen it and they haven't seen the layers. I think what Triple H is trying to do is take a wider audience from Netflix as a streaming service and try to convince the people who are like wrestling is fake, why do you like this, to actually engage with it and understand like how much goes into it and like the work that goes into it. I think on that level it works. Like you could show Unreal to like my parents and they would be like, this is intriguing.
They would appreciate the scale of the production.
Right, exactly. And like
the achievement of like the weekly schedule.
Right, like it would break open the first layer for them.
Right.
Whereas like for us, it's like I don't know, it's like dissecting like the 30th layer. And so
That is a good point. I do feel like Unreal works better when you don't really know anything about wrestling.
So, and I'll make this point. One of the main things that got me into wrestling was watching Dark Side of the Ring. And so it was in a similar way, like watching people who are involved in wrestling talk about it and tell the stories and the lore behind these different characters and these different stories and these different like drama in and out of the ring. Like it gave me more perspective about like what wrestling was on like a like a whole level instead of just surface level. So I think Unreal is kind of inspired by Dark Side of the Ring. And I think the point of it is just to get more viewers, really, and to have more people kind of drop their like weirdness about it. And like, again, as someone who never thought they would ever be into wrestling and now is like the biggest obsessive fan, I completely get why they would make something like this for people who were like formerly me to kind of understand it.
That's a good point. I think that the trouble is that when you are a fan like us, and then you have to endure what you know is fly by night, shoddy booking.
I know.
For an entire year, and then Oh, and not just that, but then just ardent defense of it from the creative side, i.e., telling the fans to just shut the hell up and enjoy the ride that we've made for you. And then seeing in Unreal all of the discord in the creative space that you knew was there, that was permeating all of the writing and all of the segments, and basically having all of that stuff confirmed, and then just truly seeing how this $1 billion enterprise is run by like 7 dudes.
It's shockingly like the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Because the reason that show is also bad is because it's produced by the Kardashians, whereas like Unreal is produced by WWE
and Peyton Manning, weirdly. And NFL Films.
And this is the main difference why Dark Side of the Ring and Unreal are like, why Unreal is so much worse, because it's not really real, because like it's produced by the people that want you to watch the thing that they're producing this about.
That's a good point. It is Unreal a work in and of itself.
It's a work, dude.
I wouldn't doubt it, because I just don't know how productive it is to have scenes in your creative room, when your writer's room, where you have Road Dogg saying, I literally don't know what to do with this John Cena thing because it's so awful. Or having one of your other writers say, Pat McAfee should go over Gunther. I'm not exactly sure like what the benefit is to have these like egregiously bad decisions broadcast.
The R-Truth thing is a perfect example. We saw him get laid off. Our hearts were broken. The people backstage who work with him, their hearts were broken. And the episode was really Triple H trying to like explain it backwards. Like, well, you know, like we didn't really like, it was just like a misunderstanding. Like we didn't.
No, you gotta do it right. You gotta say, well, you know, with what we do.
We just like didn't call him, and like he didn't call us, and like we just like didn't call each other, and like I guess he thought he was fired, but he really, I don't know, it wasn't really that like that. And it was
perfect.
It was like, that's the part of Unreal that is real. Was that one part. That one part.
When you could see like that brief pause when he was trying to figure out how to like reverse engineer an explanation that was clearly like
the fans were looking
not
for
true.
Like the fans were looking for a legitimate answer, and all he could do was like stammer and like,
it was a business thing.
Yeah, well, you know, like he's old.
He didn't even say it. Was like, honestly, that would have had some conviction behind it. He just said like, yeah, you know, one side had a number and the other side had their own number, and
they're producing it, so they would never tell it properly until it was like produced by somebody else, like Vice, for example, like 30 years from now, right? When everybody's old and doesn't give a shit anymore about this. So I look at it just like the Kardashians, where it's always going to be trash because the people who are producing it are the people that are trying to get you to watch the shit. So you're going to get like a version of it. But like it's like we were talking about with Trinity
Fatu Naomi
walking out because of the creative.
Oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. The unnamed head of talent relations.
Yeah, I'm sure it was more about them, you know, they didn't like the storyline. It's like, give me a fucking break. They didn't like Vince McMahon, and they had every right to walk the fuck out, and they should have just fucking said it. But again, Vince McMahon is probably texting Triple H, texting that whole group of men who sit in that fucking room.
I think you're onto something, though. I think it might be a work. I think that's
it's a work.
It's further obfuscation of their creative process, so that you can't hold them accountable for any decision because you just don't know whether or not.
We showed you behind the curtain, dude.
We already did that. It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, clearly. Oh, and don't get me started. That room of dudes is so depressing.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
When you see the youth and the diversity of the talent across those 3 brands, all of their storylines go through that pipeline. of that very homogenized perspective.
I guess I'm just like disappointed in how tired it looks in the writer's room.
Yeah, and I mean, and how it's really for an audience of one, because with our Truth episode, the scene where they were debating the haircutting promo, the one that you gave the Shootnami to,
Oh yeah.
there was an argument between Road Dogg and Triple H about that promo. Triple H vetoed it, and that really seemed to be the end of it. And I think that it would be nice to see that process have a few more checks and balances.
Well, yeah, because they just decided to can him after that. It was literally like the chain of events that they didn't show.
Well, that might have been an instance where if the infrastructure was in place to have, more of a collective input, you might have wound up with that promo, and then you might have wound up sidestepping the R-Truth fiasco to begin with, because you're not condensing all of your storytelling through the lens of one person. And I think that's becoming the challenge with Triple H, is that when he came aboard, he had the energy of someone that wanted to reclaim what made the WWE and its product great. And he did that.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on, especially when you have like these big shows that are being opened with him and he's being positioned as, head ringleader, I think that naturally with that type of personality, especially like an ex-wrestler, they can start to delude themselves into thinking that it's all about them. And they can really start to bask in that role of driving the car. And the danger of that is that you have a siloed creative storytelling process. And it's the same thing I would get on AEW and Tony Khan about.
Yeah.
They have the same problem. To WWE's credit, there are more people in their writer's room.
Yeah.
But it really does seem like this stuff all goes through one person.
Yeah.
And it would be better if it didn't.
Yeah.
But I am optimistic in general.
Yeah.
At the start of 2026. I think having the belts in the hands of the right people is an excellent start, especially when they're really compelling heels. So I feel like things are moving in the right direction. We talked yesterday about how just freeing in general it is to not have to structure your week around the John Cena retirement tour.
Oh yeah, I know. Thank you, Gunther.
So I think that there's a lot of promise here, and I am looking forward to the Royal Rumble.
Do you think there's going to be any really notable returns or any notable like newcomers?
I think there's going to be a lot of returns.
What are your predictions?
It's not so much predictions as like a wish list.
Yeah.
Two that I'm looking forward to the most would be Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
I think it's about time for us to, now that Jade is the WWE Women's Champion, I think that it's time for us to pull the trigger on that for WrestleMania. And then the other one is Chad Gable.
That's your front runner for returns?
Yeah, I do actually, because I think that's for as weird and sad as this Grande Americano thing has been, I think the minute that Ludwig Kaiser is in the ring in the Royal Rumble, and then Chad Gable's Americano comes out, and they face each other, I would go so far as to say that should be your 1 and 2 to start the match.
I think it's a whole mess. I think they should just give up on the Americanos at this point. They've ruined it. Chad Gable's gone. I don't think you can resuscitate it.
I don't think so.
I don't think you can resuscitate it.
Have you met this fan base?
I would just rather have him return as like Chad Gable the heel. Americano was funny because of Chad Gable. It wasn't funny or cool after they decided to just move it away from him without kind of like mentioning it or anything. Like I feel like the whole Americano thing just like isn't good anymore, and like they should just let it die because they've ruined it. But Chad Gable, if he were to show up at the Rumble, I would have a single tear in my eye because I have missed him so much. And I would really appreciate if he could come back now.
Come back and actually be in a spot.
I want you to like tell Maxine Dupree how proud you are of her.
An Alpha Academy reunion would be very emotional.
I would be emotional because it
That'd be emotional stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would be. I feel like that's what you would do with a Chad Gable return, is you would have him in the Rumble, and then you would use him to do some Alpha Academy stuff where he like repents.
Maybe he's unmasked and humiliated as El Grande and exposed, and then the only ones to pick him up are Maxine and Otis and Tozawa.
See, there we go.
Now we're cooking.
That's good stuff.
Now we're cooking. But that would take away from Maxine and Natalya, which I feel like also has a lot of potential.
Yeah, that's been good. Maybe Kevin Owens would be nice to see.
I was thinking about that the other day, and the history of wrestling is filled with surprise returns like that. When Edge came back to the WWE, like he had been gone for, I mean, that was like 9 years, I believe. Yeah. So if we're dealing with something like that, then that's not going to happen this year or next year.
Yeah.
But the point being is that there are a lot of returns where it seemed impossible.
Yeah.
So I did think about Kevin Owens for a little bit.
I think Kevin Owens would be fun to watch just because I was like very not a Kevin Owens guy when I first started watching wrestling, and then he kind of won me over after just proving like how willing to go there he is. And I mean, that's why he's injured, is because he's like, I mean, exactly. So like,
he cashed the check on that one.
Yeah. And like, I feel like he's the type of dude that's like just working his ass off to try and get back.
Yeah.
So he would be a really spectacular one.
Man, that would be a huge pop.
My other one would be, as much as I have other issues with this particular person,
Jericho.
Yeah, I would love to see him back.
I mean, hey, it's now or never. It truly, like,
I mean,
if not at the Rumble, when does it make sense to bring him in?
I think this is a perfect time.
And it just doesn't seem like he's going to go back to AEW either.
Here's my other thing about the Royal Rumble that I will say. These are super, super legacy people. And what I'm not doing is really like getting excited over like the young new male talent that could be like showing up at the Royal Rumble. Like I would love to see Ilya. I would love to see Carmelo. I would love to see Oba Femi. For fuck's sake, please put him in.
Yeah. He was the one that I was debating because the rumor is that Powerhouse Hobbs is coming
Royce Keys
over as Royce Keys. He would be an understandable surprise in the Royal Rumble because I feel like they always like to showcase defections. So I could see them putting the spotlight on Hobbs at the Royal Rumble, but you also have Oba Femi. So I kind of debated back and forth on whether or not I could see that debut, or maybe that would just be something that we might get in NXT, especially because Ricky Saints is down there, and I feel like they will have some natural chemistry that they can take advantage of.
I feel like I would be really annoyed if they introduced Royce Keys, which makes me so sad.
Royce Keys.
What a terrible fucking name.
Yeah, another one. She'll have a bad theme probably too.
Absolutely terrible. And it's just like, it's not fair because Powerhouse Hobbs is such a badass and we love him at AEW. And I think Powerhouse Hobbs is
There's a real like epidemic of like awful names of the people that are coming up.
Yeah, totally.
It's like Royce Keys, Blake Monroe.
Oh my God, I know.
Hank and Tank.
He's going to get Blake Monroe. And like it sucks because
there's another guy in that group Dark Side, which is just like the 4 dudes with the bandanas and the strobe lights and stuff. That I think his name is like Saquon Sugars.
My name is Saquon Sugars.
From now on.
That's
welcome to the Shootnami. I'm your host, Jonathan Porter, and I'm joined here by Saquon Sugars, aka Tara Balea.
Saquon Sugars is so funny to me.
Yeah, I mean they're really having kind of an issue with like naming, branding.
What was the Katana one?
Katana Chance.
Katana Chance. Yeah,
that was the canary in the coal mine for that one.
Oh, woof.
And it hasn't improved since.
Yeah. So I think Royce
Royce
Keys
Keys.
is gonna go to NXT. I can't
Oh,
imagine him
he's
being
definitely going to NXT. I just don't know if he'll have like a one night showcase
See, I
in the
don't
Rumble. Maybe he's like face to face with Obafemi. I don't know. But then it's like, who do you? It's just maybe he doesn't. And I'm
know.
talking myself out of it in real time.
They need to test Powerhouse Hobbs out. Like they really need to like test him out because he's not a mic guy. He's not like a promo guy. He's not going to go to the Rumble. I don't. I not my at least not my prediction. But now I think we probably should get to the game because
We definitely should.
we have this. Yeah, we should definitely
Anyone
do it.
else?
No, I think that's the top of mind for me.
Yeah.
Unless there's like a really fun surprise, which we can talk about after the fact.
We'll find a way to get our reactions to you guys. But for now, that's I guess, our half-assed Royal Rumble preview.
I think that was good.
I think it was okay.
It was all right.
Yeah.
We did fine.
What isn't half-assed, though, is what we have coming up, which is our game Moreover. And I'll explain the rules to that, and we'll play right after this. And we're back. And we're going to play Moreover. And the rules of this are surprisingly simple. I know that you were a little worried when I was spitballing this to you initially.
I'm not going to lie, I was worried.
The goal of this game is to essentially quantify how over WWE talent is compared to where they are either on the card currently or where they're trying to be vaulted to. So there are 25 wrestlers that we have chosen to be quote unquote discussion candidates. And we are going to choose one of those wrestlers at random. And then for every wrestler that we choose, we're going to take them through a tier system. So it's going to go from tier F all the way up to tier A. In tier A, we have the likes of CM Punk, Gunther, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, generally understood to be the top people at the company. And then you have in tier F, El Grande Americano, Rusev, you have the War Raiders, Shinsuke Nakamura, guys that you wouldn't expect WWE to promote a big show around them. We've done these tiers for the men and the women by individually ranking each from 1 to 10, and then the average of that is what created these 5 tiers. We are going to take one wrestler each from our discussion pool through these tiers and see how far they go. And the way that we'll do that is that every wrestler in each tier has a number. We will choose one at random to be the representative of that tier, and we will discuss and we will say, is this person more over than this person? If we both agree, they move up the tier. They go from F to D to C to B to A. If we don't, then the person that believes the wrestler is more over than the tier representative, will have to convince the person that doesn't think so. And they'll have 1 minute to do that, to make their case.
Oh my God. Okay.
And based on that 1 minute argument, the person that's trying to be convinced will then render a yay or nay vote. And then based on that, we will either continue or they'll stay right there where they're at. So the easiest way to do this is to probably just do it.
Okay.
In our discussion candidate pool, we have Austin Theory, Bayley, Brock Lesnar, Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Ilya Dragunov, Jacob Fatu, Jade Cargill, Javon Evans, Jey Uso, I'm hoping we get to him, LA Knight, I'm hoping we get to him, Maxine Dupree, Penta, Roxanne Perez, R-Truth, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Stephanie Vaquer, Tiffany Stratton, and Trick Willie. So we're going to go ahead and start by spinning the wheel. And our first discussion candidate is Drew McIntyre, which is good because we started the show off with him. We know that he's going to be up there, but we want to figure out how up there he is because you and I feel really good about him being the WWE champion right now. But is he really that top guy? We'll take him through Tier F. 13 wrestlers in Tier F. We're going to choose one at random. So we have number 8. So we have Drew McIntyre. Is he more over than the collective of the New Day with Grayson Waller?
Yeah, I would say so.
Pretty undeniably, right? All right, we're going to move him up.
Yeah.
Tier D. 13 again. Representative from Tier D is Drew McIntyre or Otis.
Drew McIntyre. I love Otis. I really do.
On the right night, though?
When he comes out, he's super over, but like not Drew McIntyre over.
Yeah,
love
you're right.
him, but that's never gonna happen.
You're right.
Well, I'd never say never. But
all right, moving on to Tier C.
Yeah.
Representative for Tier C is Javon Evans. I still think Drew, but I think it's tightening a little bit.
yeah, I think it's Drew.
I think it's Drew. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Tier B. This is a preview of the Royal Rumble. We have Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn.
I think it depends where you are, because if you're in Europe, Drew McIntyre. If you're in Canada, it's Sami Zayn.
That's true, because we just saw Saturday night's main event in Montreal. He always brings the house down. That will also be the case in Riyadh. But who's more over trying as best you can to take geography out of it?
Take geography out of it. I'd say Drew McIntyre just because he's a champion.
I think I'm going to agree with you.
I think there's a reason he's a champion.
I think I agree with you, but I don't necessarily think that if you surveyed most of the WWE audience, I think they would think that Sami was more over with them, that was more popular, and they wanted to see the belt on him. But Drew ultimately is what everybody wants. They want that shit-talking reign of terror. I don't necessarily know what we're getting with that we didn't already just see with Cody Rhodes for the last 2 years.
Yeah, and like I love Sami Zayn, but I don't see him as like the WWE champion.
I do. I think he will one day. I just think I have to give Drew the nod.
Yeah.
But it's a lot closer than maybe I would have anticipated. And I would not be surprised to see them finally pull the trigger on Sami Zayn. But something tells me Drew needs to hold on to it for a little bit more, because I do think he's more over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we have Tier A. We have the top dogs. It's
the most overs.
That's right, the most overs. So let's see how he stacks up. Drew McIntyre versus Penta.
I mean, for me, it's Drew McIntyre.
I think it's Drew McIntyre for the same reasons. I think what's more valuable to have and what's actually more popular with your audience? Is it just an uber babyface that doesn't actually have kind of a compelling underpinning to their story comparatively, or is it a heel that can really be dynamic? And I think that's what Drew provides.
Yeah. I think there's only a handful of people at the WWE that can do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great talent, but there's only a handful of people that can like make you feel things. And
that's a great way to put it. I think it's tough because Sami and Penta do make you feel things. Like they do evoke a reaction.
No fear.
Cero miedo. I love doing that. I love Sami with the ska entrance.
But it's not the
same. Let's go. I love that. But in terms of mileage, in terms of like a long-term plan, I think Drew is like he's like your vitamins. He's what you actually need, you know? So I would say that Drew goes all the way up to Tier A deserves to be there. We have him there. I think we had him at like a 19 cumulatively between me and you. So he is exactly where he should be. And it remained, but I still feel like it's something that he could easily be a transitional champion if they decide to ride the wave of just being in Riyadh and really valuing that relationship and just wanting the fans to be happy. I don't think they should do it because I agree with you. I think that he is exactly where he needs to be in that, and he's deserves that spot in the pantheon currently. Our next candidate, this one I was also hoping to get, Seth Rollins.
That'll be
and it's an accounting that I feel like has, if they're not going to do it, then we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Let's start him at tier F. Shinsuke Nakamura, which I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a first round. This is a troublesome first round matchup right away, especially after that match with AJ Styles that we just watched yesterday.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was such a good match. And I'll just say this. Shinsuke Nakamura has my favorite entrance of any like male WWE wrestler. It's just better than everyone else's. It's just more elevated. But he's definitely not more over than Seth Rollins, not by a long shot. So I'm going to just say Seth Rollins moves to the next group here.
I'm almost tempted to try
and argue
this. I don't know if I can do it in a minute.
Well, it's because watching him be pushed over and over again to like the absolute top is a little exhausting for even like someone who's been in it as long as I have.
I think my argument would really be that if the company got behind Shinsuke in the same way that they were convinced that Seth Rollins is this guy and gave him the resources, gave him the platform, the opportunity, the book, could Shinsuke not do the things that a Seth Rollins could do?
I love you, but no, because Shinsuke is like one of like, he's like an AEW guy. Like he's like
yeah, that's true.
He's not an WWE guy. He's there. I mean, there's a lot of value in having like a more of a technical, like New Japan guy to kind of represent that they are still watching that space.
Yeah, that you can do the things that the competitor can do.
Right. And that like you can put on a match like the AJ Styles match and like put it in Saturday night's main event and have it be like a favorite. But I still think that like he absolutely cannot do what Seth Rollins does. And I'm not saying that Seth Rollins is like, you know, a revolutionary
or a
visionary. I think he's really good for the WWE because he can do a really good promo. He's a really good wrestler. He comes out kind of with that same larger than life kind of like look and vibe, like very like invoking of like Macho Man Randy Savage, and it's like I understand why he's never going to not be at WWE, and WWE will always push him because he's like kind of that new but also legacy combined.
It's interesting, yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura could not with like their push. I think he could do it at AEW, but I don't think he could do it at WWE.
Okay. I agree. I think currently it's with state of things, I do think that you're right.
But I love Shinsuke.
But there will be
I love his vibes.
I do too, and there'll be a part of me that will always be like, I don't know, is Shinsuke just like Seth Rollins without the push, without the momentum from, I don't know. You're right, though. Who's more over, of course, is Seth Rollins.
Tony will make him into AEW Seth Rollins.
He's not going to leave for AEW because the thing is, like, all he does is he wrestles like one WWE show like every 6 months, and then he just gets to go off to Japan.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal.
Be an emissary for them, and I think he's just got a really good deal right over there right now. So it comes in, has a banger with AJ Styles, leaves, he'll come back to put somebody over, you know. I think it's a pretty sweet deal for him. But for Seth, we're going to move him through tier F after some discussion.
Yeah.
Tier D. A little easier one here, Dragon Lee.
Oh God, yeah. I
Right.
think, yeah.
Move him on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some improvement from Dragon Lee, though. I don't know, in the over department.
Yeah, I don't think in the over.
Maybe that was just the AJ Styles rub.
Yeah,
And now the Rey Mysterio and the Penta rub.
I can't really. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't really tell you much about Dragon Lee other than he's being elevated right now.
Yeah, I'm just noting a little improvement.
Yeah,
a little improvement from Dragon Lee. Tier C. We have Javon Evans again.
It's hard because like Javon Evans for me is like I enjoy watching him so much more than like a Seth Rollins match, but he is not moreover.
I think that Seth moves on and clears this pretty easily, but I just want to note, like Dragon Lee, just like
we're watching
you guys.
Yeah.
All right, Seth, tier B. Which I'll note is his tier. We have Seth Rollins and Jacob Fatu. So now I think we have our first genuine discussion here.
I think Seth Rollins.
I'm going to take the minute here.
Okay.
Seth Rollins has the push, he has the group, he has the architecture in place around him. But if you want to talk about wrestlers that make you feel and ones that have a truly untapped potential, you have athleticism like what you have with Seth Rollins, and I think the crowd is behind him so much, whether he is heel or face, and I think they're more excited about him and his trajectory than Rollins.
I think you've convinced me.
Yes!
Yeah, I think you convinced me.
Yeah.
You had me at the constant push. And I was like,
Right?
yeah. I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I'm tired. I want to watch more Jacob Fatu.
It didn't require a minute. All I needed to be like, who would you prefer as the leader of the Vision?
Oh, yeah?
It's all I needed to do.
Well, and I would never put Jacob there because Jacob is so much better than that. A lot of my perspective on Jacob Fatu changed when he came back and did the promo with Cody.
Yeah.
Because he like wasn't really being asked to speak.
Nope. And he can speak really well on the mic.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's a great promo, and I was really glad that they gave him some space to do that with Cody, because I feel like they brought the best out of each other. And usually those stage segments, those interviews, they can be very like staged. Contrived and staged. Yeah, exactly. But I really feel like they, channeled something, and then they also brought that into the street fight that they had to start the show. And I think it all kind of melded together to really be like a successful beginning to the feud. And I think that you really need to have something like that if you're going to take Cody out of the title picture. So personally, I'm more excited by the prospect of Fatu getting the ball than Rollins. Yeah. Because I've seen Rollins get the ball. I know what that looks like. And I also know what the ceiling of that is. Whereas with Jacob, I think that's a little less clear, and it's a little more exciting.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
So we stop Rollins right there. Let's keep going. Yes.
This was kind of one that
This was yours. I didn't have this one, but honestly, when I saw it, I was like, we absolutely have to do some accounting here, and that's with Bayley.
Yeah. Because
Bayley is still being pushed.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Bayley is still being pushed, and we were watching the Royal Rumble from 2 years ago, and you were surprised when I reminded you that this was the match that Bayley won.
She won.
Bayley won, and then she went on to WrestleMania and then beat Io Sky.
Which is crazy.
She's a really good candidate for this because I genuinely don't know where she will land. So let's figure it out. We have our tier F for the women, so let's start there. Bayley and Julia.
I mean, that's tough.
It is tough. We're in tier F, and it's tough already.
I think maybe when she was in NXT, there would be a real fight here. But I think because she's now on SmackDown and not really doing so good.
We watched her match with it was a triple threat qualifying match for the women's world tag team championships.
Mm-hmm.
It was Nia and Lash Legends, Charlotte and Alexa, and it was Julia and Kiana James. And I was stunned at how Kiana James like outshined her.
I mean,
in that match.
She outshined everyone. I don't see what they're trying to do with her and Kiana. Like, it seems like Kiana was supposed to be like a manager to her, but then like we actually saw her in the ring and she looked completely different and she looked amazing. She looked better than Julia, which is crazy. Because
going into the match, for weeks I had felt bad for Julia being handcuffed to Kiana James, right. And then after that match, it flipped. I was like, oh my god, like this bum is like weighing down Kiana James. And I'm shocked that I'm thinking about it in that way because
she was so over.
When they first announced that they were bringing Julia over, it was a massive coup for them.
Mm-hmm.
I for sure thought that Julia would be the one where Stephanie Vicaire is currently.
Right, like we'd see her with like Io Sky and Asuka.
Or at least there'd be like just the difference in on the card between them is astounding.
Yeah.
But we're getting lost in the Julia discussion because it's just so baffling. Because like it bears mentioning, like here's who she's sharing a tier with, right? She's sharing a tier with BFAB. She's sharing a tier with Candice LeRae, Ivy Nile, Michin, Nikki Cross, Nikki Bella, Zelina Vega. And like honestly, that sounds ridiculous, but at the same time, when you go further up, it doesn't really make much sense. She definitely belongs here as of now. And I think that's so wild. But for Bayley, though,
I think Bayley is more over than Julia.
I agree, and it's just she shouldn't be, though.
No, for sure. But
this is more about Julia than it is about Bayley in this tier. But I agree with you, and that's tough because Bayley's never been in a more vulnerable position in terms of like her relationship with the crowd. Like every now and again, you'll get people that do her chants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can you be my girl? People love that when it breaks out. It's usually in Europe. You know, she had a really cool moment on Raw where she was like, you know, hold on, the people are doing my chant. And she was able to kind of recapture that connection. I thought it was really cool for her in that moment. But you'll have other matches where it's just like, why do we need her involved in this, you know?
Well, I think that she's just been trying to do something that isn't working for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I think the last time she had a compelling story was when she was in Damage Control.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been forever.
A couple years.
And I feel like ever since that happened, she's really not been able to find like her footing.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anything, what makes me think that she's being treated so well is because she probably treats a lot of people well behind the scenes,
right.
Is my guess. Is that Bayley probably takes a lot of ownership and like, you know, mentoring younger talent and like probably just like showing up to the shows and it's almost like she is like one of the like matron saints of the locker room.
Right, like she's kind of like given that deference because of her legacy. And I think that's fair. I think that's the perfect way to move her up the tier over Julia. I think maybe you hope that Julia gets to that point eventually with WWE, and if not, then she goes somewhere where she can, because I think that she deserves more of a look that she's getting right now. But yeah, I think that for that reason, we should definitely move Bayley up into tier D. So let's see if it gets a little easier or if it gets a little harder for her in tier D. Bayley and Alexa Bliss.
Oh, Alexa Bliss.
I think this is where it has to. We have to stop here.
Yeah.
This
Sorry,
is the end
Bailey.
of the line for me.
Yeah, bye. And even what's crazy is that like I'm not like a huge Alexa Bliss, or I wasn't a huge Alexa Bliss fan because she was kind of there before I became like a big fan. But it's very clear to me that like what's happening with her and Charlotte Flair is way more over, and
it's just something that you can immediately connect and associate and say, hey, this is something that she's doing or has done recently.
Well, and it's just like her. She's just more authentic when she's doing promos. Like I don't know. I feel like one of the things that I have a hard time with Bailey is that like she's really just really trying.
Yeah.
And it's almost like to be cool.
Yep.
You have to like let go of the like try hard part. It's like another reason why like Lyra Valkyria rubs me the wrong way. It's like when you know somebody is trying so hard to get your approval or so hard to like put themselves over, it's like it's an aversion, you know. It's like the nerd sweat from the Simpsons.
She really is wrestling's pick me girl.
It's a pick me girl thing. Yeah, it's just like
it brings me no pleasure to say that.
I know, because like
she can wrestle and she's really good in the ring.
Right. Well, and like, you know, we've watched
and she probably will
matches.
She probably will figure it out eventually.
Totally. Like I think she needs to walk away for a while.
I think so too. And I think she needs to be a heel.
Yeah, well,
they both do.
Honestly, I don't care what she needs to be, because like she just needs to go away for a while. She
Fair
just
enough.
needs to leave.
Fair enough.
And then whatever, if it's been long enough and she shows up at a Royal Rumble in like, you know, a year or two, I'd be like, it's Bailey.
Yeah.
And that's just what
you know what's so funny? I thought you were talking about Lyra Valkyria. But it really just applies to both. It's hard to argue Bailey over Alexa Bliss. So we'll have her right there. Let's finish off with two more.
Okay, I have an idea.
Okay.
Why don't we, for the last two...
Do you want to elect?
Yeah.
Okay, let's elect.
Because I, as much as it's nice to have a little spinny wheel, I think like there's a couple that you really wanted. We just want to get into, yeah. And there's probably one on here that I would like to test out myself.
Cool. Yeah. No. So since you submitted the idea for the floor, why don't you tell us what your nomination is? Your nomination.
Can I pick three and you pick the one of the three? Or is that giving away?
Sure, yeah. You can do that. You sure you don't want to? Because I'm going to pick my own.
I know, but I think they might align.
Okay.
R-Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Jey Uso. Or LA Knight.
We should definitely do Jey.
Okay.
And I think we should definitely do LA Knight.
Okay.
Jey Uso and LA Knight are almost exclusively mentioned in tandem in our discussions, so I think it's a natural pairing.
Yeah.
Let's do Jey Uso, because it seems like they're almost doing that re-indexing of him in real time. So let's do a little math, okay? Let's start in tier F. Jey Uso and the War Raiders.
Oh God. Oh no. I would definitely say Jey Uso's more over.
Even with the Minecraft gear?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. On to tier D. Jey Uso and Austin Theory.
Jey Uso.
It's Jey Uso. I know who Triple H would like to hear us say is more over.
Austin Theory is not over.
If you ask Triple H, I'm sure this conversation would be very different.
I don't know why.
He would be taking the minute here to try and convince us that Austin Theory was more over.
It's like, just because you make someone a masked man doesn't mean that they're over.
And he wasn't even technically the masked man through all of those segments, which something about that just really bothers me.
It's super annoying and lazy.
It's like, okay, wait a minute. So like, this is your big push, your big like reclamation, and like you can't even be bothered to just like make the town and put on a hoodie.
Well, and what's even more...
Montez Ford has to put on a hoodie for you.
What's even more annoying is they did another masked man with Jacob Fatu, and I just find that to be
with
like,
R-Truth.
Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Stop doing it.
Find a better way to reveal things.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be somebody in a fucking black hoodie and sweatpants.
Right.
Like, it doesn't have to be it.
Figure out a way.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, moving on to tier C. Jey Uso and Carmelo Hayes.
Jey Uso. Carmelo doesn't have the power of the yeet.
I was gonna say it's really the yeet, isn't it?
It's the yeet goes a long way. It really does. It's the reason why he won the Royal Rumble.
But man, if you take the yeet away,
Well,
you can't.
you
can't.
can't.
But if you could, this would be a lot harder.
If you could take the yeet away, I think I would say Carmelo.
I do too. I think I would say Carmelo now. Like you want to talk about longevity, like a long-term plan, like who's better to have?
Mm-hmm.
Undoubtedly. He reminds me a lot of Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's so much potential with him. And we watched that match with Ilya Dragunov on Friday, and I expected Ilya to be a psychopath and lay everything in and everything's live rounds, but like the way that Carmelo returned the favor against him, I just love his like how he has such a clear love for the game, man.
Well, he's just so clean and so like, you know, I feel like I haven't seen a ton of his matches just because he's pretty new, but like I can see where they're building up to having him be a much bigger deal. And I think
sky's the limit, man. And that's really what makes this tough for me, is because the sky is not the limit for Jey Uso. In fact, the sky is falling for Jey Uso currently.
Yeah, it's been kind of sad. It's been hard to watch because he is such a lovable character and guy, and mixed with how he has like this like amazing effect on the crowd, like you really do want to root for him.
Yeah.
And which makes it 1,000 times more depressing when like it starts to fall flat.
Yeah.
Because
mixed with his own reaction to it.
Right. Like
he's a guy I genuinely worry about, like, because you know, it's one thing to have a fall from grace, but it's like sometimes he just strikes me as someone that would take something like that really hard.
Oh, totally. Well, because, you know, it's like the bloodline. It's like the family. It's like your family having expectations about you being the best in a certain industry.
This could be something that's a good discussion for a future episode, but I've always, and that's something that I thought about when Yeet came around, is that it's its own kind of prison when you create something that hits critical mass like that.
Dude, there is literally a Simpson episode about this. Have you ever seen the episode where Bart comes up with the catchphrase that everyone's obsessed with? It's like,
is it the one where like it's always the clip of like say the line?
Yes,
it's that one. I never saw the episode, but I've seen the.
I think that I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen it, but I think it's where Bart Simpson says, "Don't have a cow, man." And
I do remember that. Yeah,
everyone just like, it's like a phenomenon. Like he's in commercials, and then everybody surrounds him and is just like, "Do it, do it, do it." And it is like a prison.
It's its own set of shackles.
Yes, and it's like Mikey, he likes it. It's like all of these like iconic characters that have like a line or a phrase or a song or whatever.
And you have to maintain that momentum in perpetuity, and it's just like you can't. And because it's so meteoric, any downturn is so pronounced.
Yeah.
And so palpable, and it almost compounds and like snowballs on itself. And I think that's where we are now. And like, I think that's why they gave them the tag team titles, is like to
relieve him.
It's like an emergency brake in like a runaway car. It's like they had to find some way to get a foothold.
But they're still kind of doing it, you know? Like they're still
doing it but like not with, I mean, like in this time last year, like it was the Yeet, it was like a 10-minute segment.
Oh yeah, I know. And
now it's like it's something we just kind of all get through.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people felt that way in the beginning, but I always felt that was just kind of like people that were butthurt about the fact that they had caught onto something, that something had caught fire.
Yeah.
And they didn't like it, and therefore it was just stupid in general. But, you know, that really has borne out to be true. Like it really does feel like a labor now to go through the whole thing, to run it back, the Usos are in your city, and he's like winded and just like barely getting through his promos, and it's everything that they all said it was.
Well, and I remember he like somebody interviewed him, and he said like every time he walks out, like people are touching him, and like that's got to be awful too, because like you've not only made this like your thing, and you're like everybody's demanding it of you, but like you have to come through the audience every time, no matter where you are. And yes, people love to see like the little kids and everything, but like imagine being Jey Uso and coming through the audience. And like, I don't know, lately I've just been seeing people acting like fucking animals in the audience, like trying to touch people and patting people on the back, or like, and I just think it's so inappropriate. Like if you go to a wrestling show,
you're just talking about Triple H and Gorilla
hugging everyone. If you go to a wrestling show, shame on you. If you ever try to touch talent,
grow up, Mark.
You are not allowed to touch people without their consent. And with Jey Uso coming through the audience, it's the same thing, you know? Like, sure, if he engages with you 100%, but you should never touch somebody without like, just because you paid for a ticket.
Well, it's like he'll hoist a kid up and do a yeet, and then it'll be like people thrusting their kid in, like, oh, my kid, do my kid, do my kid. And there's a whole show that is going on, and it's just like people don't have any sense of how they're like bogging things down by doing that, and how it's probably taxing for Jay. So it's like, I agree. I do feel for him, but in terms of like the conversation of who is over, I think you have to give it to him over Carmelo Hayes because of Yeet. But I really want to underscore that, you know, that is really the deciding factor here. And there might come a time, and I think that's why we got off on that tangent, is that there might come a time where you can't really use that anymore.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's that time is going to be here sooner rather than later. But for now, we'll move him into Tier B, which is where we have him. Tier B, we have Jey Uso and Sami Zayn.
I think Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, yeah. And it's not even a consideration for me, honestly. I think that not only is he probably more of a babyface than Jey Uso is, I think it's the more compelling angle. It's their new finish the story.
Yeah.
And I think it's more sustainable. You know, it's not a death sentence.
Yeah.
But it is something that I feel like the stock is trending downward.
Yeah.
And it's a little demoralizing right now, but I mean, like, that's part of the journey. And I hope that, you know, he just is able to find a time to make this productive, this lull a productive lull, and not something that like completely like buries him. Because I do think that there's still something there with Jay. But that said, he is technically where we ranked him, so we continue. We haven't had a major deviation, but we might with this next one. And I feel like I'm going to have to do some convincing at several junctures with you.
I don't know. We'll see.
Because we're talking about LA Knight.
He's pretty popular, so
right. Well, let's conclude the episode by taking him through the tiers, and we'll see how far he gets. Tier F. We have the War Raiders again.
Oh, that's...
so we're moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on to Tier D. Solo Sikoa.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to have to convince you that he doesn't belong in Tier D, aren't I?
I will reiterate, my love for a wrestler is not the same as their popularity. So I would say LA Knight is more over than Solo Sikoa, even though... he shouldn't be.
He's so begrudging. This is like my Julia argument.
Solo Sikoa, I think I would love to trade places with Jey Uso. Like where it's like, just take the Usos away for a while, make them go on vacation, and then bring Solo Sikoa, like the real Solo Sikoa, not like the character.
Take the Usos and the MFTs. They can all go on vacation together and just have Solo Sikoa, like,
yeah,
run
just
it
clean it up.
Bit, yeah.
Clean it up. And get him the fuck out of this whole Wyatt Six thing, because he's so much better than that. Anyway, this is not about Solo Sikoa. It is about LA Knight. LA Knight wins, but Solo Sikoa has to do what LA Knight has to do. They're both okay. So this is what I'm going to say about both of these guys. Both of these guys are phenomenal when you don't edit them or give them something to do. Like, these guys at the core are hilarious people, and they're super talented, but they're being pushed into a role or into a personality or a character when the real character is their authentic, like, sense of humor.
They should be the ones guiding the creative
about their characters,
not like the Room of Seven that we talked about earlier.
Right. It's like, get the lantern out of his hand, get LA Knight to do a real shoot promo. Let these
desperately needed.
Let both of these guys cook. These guys are so good. Like, oh my god, the stuff that I've seen Solo Sikoa say and do when the camera isn't on him is when you get the best shit out of him. And it's the same thing for LA Knight. I just think that they've worked in the business wrong. They're expected to do things a certain way. That's where you get these guys at the D level when they should be at like a B level. So LA Knight wins, but they both need like a taste of the same medicine, basically.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We're moving LA Knight onto Tier C, though, and there he will face... Fraxium made it into this tier. I think that's really the story here. LA Knight is more over than Fraxium. I think that's clear. But I think it's really interesting that we have them in here.
Isn't this like the NXT, like, comeuppance group? This is like the...
I think this is like one iteration before the newest crop. So I think this is like right before Joe Hendry. But Fraxium was incredibly over in NXT. And honestly, like, I could easily see them with the belts. I could see them making a really solid run because of how athletic and how fun they are to watch, and their chemistry and their rapport with each other. LA Knight obviously moves on here, but just kind of a cool shout out for those guys to be like in that mix, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Let's go to the B tier. I want to see if LA Knight can ascend, because I think that this is getting to the ultimate like schism where I believe that he needs to be in this higher tier.
Yeah.
He needs to be in the A tier for me. So let's see. Let's see if I'll have to convince you, or if we can get him up there. Seth Rollins.
I think Seth Rollins is more over than LA Knight.
Give me my minute. Have you heard an LA Knight pop?
Yeah.
There's two camps that separate LA Knight and Rollins. There is a contingent of people that I am included in that are furious about his immobility on the roster. In fact, so much so that one of the most noteworthy clips in the Unreal Season 2 was him being dissatisfied in Gorilla. Meanwhile, you have a guy, Seth Rollins, that every time he's being pushed, everybody is reserved about it. Nobody is excited about it. Even just the slightest whiff of upward mobility in LA Knight makes people excited, makes them happy. And that's what wrestling is all about.
Sorry, I love you and I know you love LA Knight. I think I say that every episode, but I just don't agree with you, because I will always, like I said, disclaimer, we have not seen this episode about disgruntled LA Knight, but I think the fact that LA Knight has some kind of issue with creative, or creative has some kind of issue with LA Knight that is like not exposed to us. It's behind closed doors. Like, they don't believe he can do it. I will not believe he can do it until I see him take it to that next level.
But if they don't believe he can do it, then he'll never get that chance to show you.
No, he can take it, because that's ultimately what wrestling is all about. Go do a shoot, watch how many people flip out, and just watch Triple H be like, all right,
I have no choice now.
Now you've
because he's real. Triple H has proven to be a guy where it's, if you can back him into a corner and make it completely nonsensical to book someone in terms of like, I'm not going to draw more people by avoiding this, then he will eventually, like, it's the R-Truth thing.
Yeah. Totally.
He will listen when the groundswell is large enough.
Yeah, and I think that LA Knight has a perfect platform to do that. He just won't do it. And I think that Triple H senses it. LA Knight senses it. He's just old enough to the point where I think he's just like, I don't know, man, maybe it's not worth the risk or whatever. I think that's where we have the issue with LA Knight. Like I said, it's not him. It's his lack of just going for what everybody just really wants.
Yeah, I think that is probably the most compelling case in terms of taking the opportunity, because I don't think that you get that many opportunities in the way that Seth Rollins has had them unless you have some skill at being able to foster them.
Yeah, and I think Seth Rollins, like, there have been so many times where he's been pushed, but he's also shown, like, consistency.
Yeah, that is a skill in and of itself, is to get yourself to be involved and to stay involved, especially after a 15, 20-year career. I'm not sure how long he's been around, but he's been around I would consider him to be a legacy talent at the company.
Yeah.
I agree with that stance. I think that is something that he is missing. I think that's partially what makes me so frustrated about the LA Knight thing, is that because I do feel like he has that energy and he has that capacity to deliver that promo that puts him in the top spot undeniably. 20% of that might be frustration from the fact that I'm waiting for that to come out of him as well. So I respect your decision to not advance my guy.
Even though I do like him a lot.
We await the day.
I want him to come back.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt feud LA Knight was the golden days. Yeah. And we hope we see it again. We'll definitely come back to Moreover. I envision us maybe coming back sometime after WrestleMania. What I like to consider like this grand reshuffling of the deck, and they'll have this re-indexing of who's important, who's kind of taking the step up, who's taking a step back. And I think it would be a good place to kind of like revisit that. But until then, that was Moreover. I had a lot of fun playing it.
Yeah.
And I think it was a really good primer for the Royal Rumble. So that's our kind of view of who's over right now, to what extent. But we're going to get the final word with the Royal Rumble, and we're going to see who finally gets that push. Enjoy your Saturday afternoon wrestling. I know that we will.
Yeah, give me an early show.
Give us the early bird special. Enjoy the Rumble. We'll be back to talk about it in some capacity. But until then, thanks for joining us for episode 8. And we'll be back for episode 9. Have a great time until then, and we'll talk to you on the other side. Goodbye.
Bye.